College Gym Vids fan going live on YouTube. Okay, with my IPTV service, I go to the Catch Up Live section and see they have today, the 24th, yesterday, the 23rd, the 22nd, the 21st, the 20th. So let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 day catch up, and then it's deleted, and then they put new days on there. So it's kind of like an unconventional DVR, and you just choose which one you want to play, and it's kind of like a DVR. So I could watch women's college water polo. I actually already played women's college gymnastics, then Campus Eats was on. Now college gymnastics, this is like in military time, actually. They put it in military format, but it's from the Big Ten Network.
The technics are this, it's the customers that make this place tick. There are pictures plastered upon the wall.
This is probably the end of Campus Eats.
You're watching men's gymnastics on Big Ten Network. It is senior day in Lincoln, Nebraska. The Cornhuskers welcoming in the third-ranked team in the land, the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan is one win ahead of Iowa in the standings and the chase for the first ever Big Ten regular season championship. As we say, good Saturday afternoon to you. He's the five-time collegiate national champion, Paul Ruggieri. Joel Gadet, glad to have you along with us. There's never been a regular season champion on the men's gymnastics side of the Big Ten. So pretty cool for the Wolverines to be in that level.
Yeah, Joel, the guys must be super excited to have that extra title added onto the season. And, Michigan almost has it. Just depends on what happens with Iowa later on in their tri-meet. So let's see what the dice roll today.
Well, for Michigan, they've been led by a host of different bodies throughout the course of 2019, but none in more places than Cameron Buck.
Yeah, Cameron has been a former national team member. He's been super consistent this season on parallel bars. He's currently ranked 4th in the nation. Look for big things from this guy. Next up, Jacob Moore. Last year was the Big Ten title holder on the floor exercise. Sometimes he does all around. Let's see if he does today. Coach said maybe, maybe not. We'll see what happens.
Kurt Golder said it's up to him and Cameron Bach whether or not they compete in the all-around. Anton Stevenson will go all-around for Nebraska.
The stick master. Here he is, swinging the pommel horse, but he's definitely known for sticking those vaults. He was the Big Ten title holder on parallel bars last year. He's also the current nominee for the Nissen Emery Award nationally this year. Last up, Griffin Keeler. He also has been having a great season this year. Currently ranked 14th in the NCAA on high bar. He also is incredibly consistent on this event, barely ever scoring below a 13.0. So hopefully keep it above that mark tonight.
Michigan will start off on the pommel horse. Nebraska will lead us off on floor exercise. Big Ten regular season championship up for grabs for the Wolverines.
Anybody that tells you that they don't want a full head of hair is lying.
It was like really thinning out on the top. I was like, here we go.
Once Hims came along, I realized that doesn't have to happen to me.
It's an easy, fast, and inexpensive way to keep hair.
It was really comforting to have a doctor make me feel really confident that this was a product I should be using.
What you get from Hims is definitely worth the price.
I'm no longer going bald, yay!
Go to 4hims.com. Try for $5 today.
This is the University of Michigan.
Founded as a place of universal learning.
We wanted to study the world's problems
and make a difference. We said we were leaders, so we led.
Together, we could accomplish great feats.
Beyond what any one person could do. We are Michigan. And after 200 years, we can never forget why we lead.
To advance knowledge.
To serve the public. To do good.
That is our way forward.
title. The 2019 NCAA Women's Frozen Four continues Sunday with the National Championship game, only on BTN and the Fox Sports app.
I want to have fun. I want to have cheese. I want to belong.
Over 400,000 children are in foster care. Many enter without everyday essentials and haven't experienced the joy of sports.
Join Ticket to Dream and Fox Sports supports to ensure that foster kids reach their full potential.
With the right opportunities, we can help foster kids just be kids. Visit tickettodream.org to find out how you can help. Champions are built in the spring. Spring football coverage this April on BTN and the Fox Sports app.
Women's Gymnastics on BTN is brought to you by State Farm. Here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today. Nebraska hosting Michigan here on its senior day, but without a couple of its star youngsters. Austin Lober, a junior, and Evan Criley, a freshman, will not go today. Shoulder injury for Criley, bicep tear at Ohio State for Austin Lober. So they are both out. Lober just had surgery this past week, actually finished his routine after tearing his bicep, and then looked over at Chuck Jamelka and said, no go for the rest of the season. So hopefully those two guys get better. But this is what we will look at for those competing. Rotation 1, pommel horse, and 4 for Michigan and Nebraska. We'll then flip it around. Rotations 3 and 4 are the still rings and the vault, the high bar, and parallel bars finish things out. And of course, Nebraska being the home team gets to finish off on the crowd-pleasing high bar. Kurt Golder has been head coach at Michigan now for 22 years. 3-time NCAA champion, 3-time national runner-up, 4-time Big Ten Coach of the Year. On the other side, Chuck Jamelka has been coaching at Nebraska since well before any of his current athletes were alive. Head coach now for 10 years, but he's been an assistant since 1986. He graduated from Nebraska in 1981.
First pass. Getting ready for the second.
This is Charlie Giles, the freshman.
Medium-sized deduction. Most important thing to be looking at here is those small foot placements on the landing. Nice pull in. Two and a half, punch half. Again, it's those small hops that we want to eliminate when looking for the highest execution score. Execution is almost as important as your difficulty score when watching gymnastics. Let's see if he can finish up. All right. That was a pretty decent landing. He's got one more to go. Team's super amped. And let's see if he can floss it out with a stick. And he just put his hands down. That's gonna cost a major deduction. Let's take a look back at that nice full endo that he had in one of his first passes. This is a double flipping skill with a single twist. That was a nice small deduction there. And one more look at that dismount. Almost had the stick, just a little bit too far forward on the landing. He's gonna be a little disappointed with that. Hopefully the rest of the guys can pick up after him.
Charlie Giles in the leadoff spot of only 5 gymnasts competing today. So we come down the back half of the season, or the back stretch of the season. You don't get a 6th gymnast whose score you can drop now. If you're in the lineup, you are in the lineup, and your score counts.
Yep, you're exactly right. That fall is going to be costly for their team score.
This is Mitchell Brown now here on pommel horse.
Looking pretty good so far. Nice consistent swing. The pommel horse, you're looking for a nice rhythm, nice consistent rhythm. Perfectly balanced on top of those pommels. This is a really difficult event to start out on. Nice dismount. We'll take a look at that again in a minute here. The most important thing on the dismounts on pommel horse is that you're flying up in seamless motion, which he did just right. And he went straight up, no hesitation. there won't be any big deduction for that dismount. He'll definitely be pleased with that routine. Like I said, pommel horse is really difficult to start out as your leadoff event, so good job, Nebraska. I'm sorry, Michigan.
Let's see what kind of job Zach Peters can do for Nebraska. Follows that 12-9 from Giles. And Peters is an interesting guy. Chuck Jamelka says he could be an All-American for us, just a sophomore. He can also go out and score an 11. So he's kind of got that wide swath and consistency becomes key.
And I can see why. That was a little interesting mistake. The first pass was beautiful, though. Not many gymnasts in the world can do that. And a double-double, beautiful stick. Again, small mistake on that second pass. All he has to do is minimize the errors going forward, and it'll be okay. Just looking for no major errors. So no hands down, no falls. He's going to be a little disappointed, but so far recovering really well. Nice. Now into our non-acrobatic requirement on the floor exercise. We're looking for a 2-second hold once he gets to the top. Going to be counting 1 and 2. It's also really difficult to hold those 2 seconds when you're competing. A lot of adrenaline going. All right, let's see if he can finish out. You don't need a fall here. You need a nice, all right, back layout and a stick. He sticks, but he watered down just to make sure they kept that. Without a fall. Let's look at his double leg, full out, double flip with a layout, and a full twist. That was gorgeous. Not many gymnasts in the world can do that, like I said. And a nice stuck double-double here. Very, very difficult to stick that pass. And the last dismount, or the dismount here, he definitely watered that down. Just probably trying to stay on his feet. You know, they can't sacrifice another fall.
Well, and intentional, too. Goes to a C dismount instead of a D level dismount. 2 weeks off for this Nebraska team. Have not competed since March 8th.
All right.
And coming off back-to-back losses.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Try to tweak. Chuck Jamelka basically saying, listen, if a skill has been struggling, or you've been struggling with a skill, take it out, knock it down, let's make sure we're clean.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's definitely a good strategy to have. You know, the coaches have to be thinking about those top 5 scores on each event and how they're going to get them. You know, it comes down with lineup.
Here's Mac Lasker now, 7th in the country on this apparatus, battling a little bit of a wrist ailment. So having to watch his numbers in practice, but this is what he is best at.
All right, some nice scissor skills in the beginning. You're looking for height on those toes, height in your hips. It's a beautiful line. Just keep swinging, buddy. Just keep swinging. Again, like I said, this event is super difficult to start out on. You know, you have a lot of adrenaline always starting out the competition. Get a little nervous, get a little twinge, you know, in your forearms, nervous twinge, and just have to find a way to fight through it. Rely on that confidence. Way to fight, though. Way to fight. No falls. Lots of small deductions. Good dismount. He's going to be happy with that. Michigan's going to be happy with that. Again, it's so hard with that 5 up, 5 count format, and he finishes it off with a beautiful dismount. Again, you're looking for 45-degree angle with your feet. That was awesome. I would definitely be pleased with that if it was me.
Dive into the pommel horse on the next man up, Jonathan Liu for Michigan. What makes that such a difficult event? But first, Jacob Benai is the junior out of Burlington, Ontario, here on floor.
Beautiful mount. A little bit different. Splitting the spin from the double flip, double rotation with a full one single spin. That was really, really high, but it was a half instead of the full at one time. Nice double full. Here we go with that non-acro skill again. He's got to hold for 2 seconds. And that floor, it wiggles. You can see his wrists. That floor wiggles back and forth. You know, 2 inches of foam, plywood, and springs underneath it.
And it's different from place to place. Some are tighter, some have more give.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, some of these floors have been used longer than others. Most of them are the same brand, but absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see if he can figure out this last pass. He's got to dial it in right for that stick. He was just a little short forward, but a good finish again. Nice routine. I want to point out one last thing. Back to that non-acro skill. Watch his wrists. You're going to see him push forward and back on the floor. That's really difficult. Stabilize your body as you hold that position for 2 seconds. The judges are really looking in on those non-acro skills. And the dismount, again, slightly leaning forward. Maybe medium-sized deduction there. Overall, again, that's a hit. That counts. That's great.
We have to block out those shoulders. That is upper body strength to an
I know, right?
Here's Jonathan Liu now. Third up of 5 on pommel horse. Let's talk about this apparatus. Why can it be the bane of so many people's existence? If you've got it in your toolbox, that's your ticket to a spot on the roster.
Sure, personally, I think that it's a really difficult skill to get good at. It takes a long time, a lot of repetition, and it's really frustrating to learn skills. So I think a lot of guys tend to gravitate to other events and start learning skills there because it can be more fun. And that was a nice scissor handstand. Travel down. Again, he's got a nice flare work. That scissor in the beginning was awesome. This is really difficult. Adds a level of difficulty to each skill with those legs open and coming back to a regular circle. All right, that was an interesting but amazing recovery. We're gonna take a look one more time at his scissor handstand. This is a really difficult skill, just like that floor exercise. You gotta go upright with no hesitation, feet together, and come back down with no hesitation without slamming the horse. That's really, really hard to do. And back to his dismount. You're gonna watch his hands, a slight error with his weight in the air. He couldn't get underneath for that last half turn, so that'll be a minor deduction, but he'll definitely get credit for the dismount. No big deal.
3 up for Michigan on the pommel horse. Lasker score coming in at a 12:05. You see the scores on floor exercise for Nebraska with Griffin Keeler, stepping up on floor exercise next.
All right, again, let's see how he can step up to the plate.
All-American a year ago.
All right, on floor?
Yes.
That's a deduction, taking a step outside of that red mat. The judges are watching for that. Oh, I don't know if you made it in there again, but nice recovery. They probably won't take it unless somebody raised the flag. Nice half in, half out, full in again. It's a much nicer way of spinning in that double flip. Again, we're looking for 2 seconds here. In general, it's really difficult to start out, a competition. As a competitor, that first event, you have a lot of adrenaline, and then as the competition goes on, you tend to calm down a little bit, get a little bit more confident with what you're doing. It's all about developing tools, to handle that stress in the beginning, and all these guys, they know how to do that. But every competition is different, and this is postseason, or the end of the season. All right, they're fighting for that regular season crown and dismount, double full stick. Again, played it safe on the dismount. That's an easy dismount. But again, just looking to be nice and clean. We're going to take a look back at that one big step out of bounds. He's got a lot of power. Watch how high he goes up in the air. Big double-double. He's a big guy, though. He's got to try to shorten up his run a little bit, I think. Nice routine and a nice stuck double full. That definitely counts. It's like you said, it's a great strategy to water down those dismounts, keep those landings clean, especially as we're in that 505 count format.
Here now is Jacob Moore, the All-American on floor, although pommel horse, his favorite apparatus.
That's generally not something you see, Floor and pommel horse combo for an athlete is pretty unique, but let's see, swinging great. Looking pretty good, looking confident, nice and high up, hips are nice and high. Nice Magyar, Savato. No pommels, that's more difficult. And a good dismount, finishes it up really well. That routine, I really like the traveling. You travel forward and backward, no hesitation. when you're doing those skills, you know, we're looking at the chest facing forward the whole time. He did that really nicely. Again, you're going to see half of a travel there. You're looking for chest forward, feet straight up, no hesitation, no error on that dismount. Coach is going to be happy with that. Good job, Kurt.
You're required to travel on the horse. You have to touch all three sections of it. But what does it show you when someone does it with the confidence, the ease, and the flow that Jacob Moore just displayed?
You know, it definitely does exactly what you said. You know, your confidence shows in your swing. You're swinging bigger. You don't have that slight turn. You know, you're not going to get that deduction, and you're just going to have a better flow for the whole routine. It affects your overall score. You know, this isn't a sport where we're being scored subjectively, so that affects how the judges will view the whole routine. Back to our exercise.
This is Anton Stevenson. He doesn't give you space for much deduction at all, except with that step out of bounds.
Man, another step out of bounds, but that's a really unique pass. It was really difficult. Nice double-double, you know, and a stick landing. That was a really difficult combination. Double-double, third pass. I don't know how these guys have enough energy to be doing that. You know, it takes a lot out of your legs, especially those double flipping, double twisting skills.
And the mental fortitude to have just stepped out of bounds and then come back and hit.
Yeah, you know, you have to be able to turn it around. You know, something so important in gymnastics, you know, is there's so many different things going on. You always have to keep your head on straight and just keep pushing, because every score, every event, every routine counts. This dismount is really going to count here. It's been a big routine so far. He needs a big stick. And triple full. Nice. Almost stuck. I'm not sure what they'll do. That maybe 1/10 on a little hop. Definitely the guys are amped about that. We're going to take a look back at that routine. We're going to have a nice half turn, front double full, super difficult. Just a slight weight imbalance to his right side. And that beautiful double-double, super high, like a toothpick and a club sandwich. Steal Johnny R's words right out of his mouth. That was beautiful.
I like it.
We're going to be happy with that for sure.
Kevin Bach on pommel horse now. 8th in the country here. Looking for a big number, and he's capable of it. 14.4 is his high.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and like I said in the intro, this guy's been on a national team before. He's traveled the world internationally. He knows what it takes. You know, he knows how to compete. I think he definitely, you know, has a bright future ahead of him. Again, look at that swing. It's super confident. Hips are super high.
And it's faster than anyone else.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's another thing. You know, a lot of guys have their own style, and it all comes down to, you know, what brings you that confidence. You know, some guys like to swing fast. Some guys like to swing nice and slow. For me, I was a fast swinger, but and a beautiful dismount. Yes, they're gonna be happy with that. All right, Cameron. Way to start off the meet again. Like I said, super difficult to start off, and he definitely didn't falter here. Let's see if that's a perfect, again, these guys have been working really hard on those dismounts. You know, the judges are looking for those errors, and I think it's really important. You know, Kurt has been doing a great job. Watch those hands. Super precise hand movements. They have to be in exactly the right spot, or else you're gonna fall off. So, great job, Cameron. Looking for big things from you in the future.
Well, he was 3rd at Winter Cup on the pommels. Just displayed why. Caps off a nice first rotation for Michigan, trying to capture a Big Ten regular season championship. We'll flip sides next.
I need some ideas for some new cars.
Hey, Gus. I was just helping Joe combine his home and auto insurance. You good?
Yep, couldn't be better.
Hard to be better than the best.
Double-digit rebounds already. It's hard to be better than the best.
Support your favorite college at Fanatics.com, the largest assortment of officially licensed fan gear for more than 500 colleges. Every conference, every team. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hustle, sweat, the grit behind the glory. Here we put in the hard work that keeps us flexible, nimble, strong. Work that finds the power in ideas connecting, thoughts colliding, and potential unlocked. worth doing comes easy. We are Nebraska.
Notre Dame, Penn State. The 2019 Big Ten Men's Ice Hockey Tournament Championship. Tonight at 8 Eastern on BTN and the Fox Sports app. The home of the Huskers. BTN. The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place. With live broadcasts of multiple championships across all divisions. With exclusive access. And it's all early to play our kind of game. And highlights from every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app.
Tonight on BTN, a champion will be crowned at the 2019 Big Ten Men's Ice Hockey Tournament when Notre Dame and Penn State face off. The puck drops at 8 Eastern right here on BTN and the Fox Sports app. Kel Morris, Peyton Jones, your goalie battle. Kel Morris, 33 saves a year ago in the national championship. Notre Dame runners-up a year ago in the Frozen Four against Minnesota Duluth. Put a Big Ten title in your back pocket on the way back there if you're the Irish. Take a look at your first rotation results. Nebraska, pretty good work on the floor. That is right about their season average. Michigan, a little below what they're used to on bounce. Let's flip it over to floor for Michigan, though. And Jacob Moore, literally one of the best, if not the best, in the country, but he's the best in the Big Ten.
Yeah, you know, this is a shot at his Big Ten championship last year. I'm sure he's expecting, you know, to bring home the title or at least fight for it again this year. So let's see what happens with him tonight. And he's definitely looking, you know, lead the team on top.
He'll be in the 4 spot of the 5 gymnasts. Again, 5 up, 5 count here. There is no 6th option that you can drop if you have a full. Moore is number 2 in the country, only behind Oklahoma's Gage Dyer. And he has put up a 15-3 this year on floor. No one has bested that.
You know, despite those few mistakes that were made on floor exercise, it does seem like Nebraska was able to maintain a pretty decent team score. So it's definitely not putting them out of it. No, they're definitely looking to improve in this second rotation. But in my opinion, you know, it's just about having no falls. You know, the fewest amount of falls that they can have out on the floor, the better.
Marco Chiapuzzo will lead things off here for Michigan as a specialist on floor. Kirk Holder said that on the Michigan side of things too. Their last time out, he said, listen, we had about 2.5 mistakes. That's a good number. If you fall twice in an entire meet, you can live with that, but other than that, then
you know, that's pretty difficult, you know. We'll get back to that in a minute, but let's look at this floor routine. Again, that non-acrobatic requirement. This is unique. He's not going to do a handstand here, but he's supposed to hold that for 2 seconds. Judges will be looking for perpendicular legs to the ground, and he is going to do a press. And sometimes you're actually not limited to one. You can do as many non-acro skills as you want. Generally, the gymnast won't do more than 1 or 2 because there are some built-in risks with those skills. All right, he's keeping his landings nice and clean so far. See if he can keep it up. Nice layout, super easy B-level skill here. Again, as the leadoff guy, it's super important, you know, get those landings done. Again, another stick. And here we go, we're almost done with this routine. See if he can keep his confidence up. That was a 2.5. His weight was just slightly back. All we can do here, you know, in that situation is minimize your steps, and he did just that. He turned around as fast as he can, watch his back. It's going to be leaning back. He's going to try to get back on his feet without touching his hands. Great job, great recovery. They're definitely not going to be happy about the dismount, but again, it's all about no falls, and that was not a fall.
Second strike hold that he did. Cost-benefit analysis of that. Why will someone do a second?
Sure, someone would do a second non-acro skill to get a little bit of energy back. You can also add difficulty easily doing that. They're not necessarily difficult flipping or acro skills. So it's an easy way to add difficulty into a routine.
Now here's Charlie Giles, who led off on floor as a freshman. He now leads off on pummels as a freshman.
A nice flop here. That's super difficult. This guy is swinging really well on a one pommel, and that's really difficult to do, especially, keeping both hands on that pommel without losing your balance. And he's doing it time and time again. I'm loving what I'm seeing. And a beautiful dismount. He got it done really quick. The guys are going to be amped about that. Lead off guy, super important to hit. Way to start it off, Charlie. We're going to take a look back at that routine. In a second here, he's got multiple hand placements on that pommel horse. Look at them, many, and he's spinning around on that. So that's a super high level skill. It's a DRE if I can remember correctly. It's going to definitely boost his start value. That was an impressive routine for a lead off.
Paul Hahn. The reason he got into gymnastics, he watched the 04 Olympics and saw Paul Hahn. I want to do that, and the guy winds up being his coach.
That makes a lot of sense. What better guy to look up to than Mr. Hahn himself?
Here's Nick Guy now.
Nice double front, pike. That was something we haven't seen yet. And another double. We've seen that a couple times.
Ooh, stepped out of bounds.
A lot of power, but we're seeing those steps out of bounds, which you really don't want to have. But again, it's better than falling. And number 2, oh man.
It seems like he kept his first pass shorter though. He kept that inbounds. He's been longer on his other 2 in terms of where he takes off.
Yeah, it's actually, floor is such a strategic event. You don't really realize it, but each step does matter. The energy level that you need for each skill does matter. We got 2 little stumbles in that handstand. Again, it goes back to what I was saying. Those non-acro skills, they're risky, they're super important, they're required. Just have one. This guy's just going to be looking for clean up those landings. Again, nothing major, small little hiccups here and there, but he's recovering really well. And nice dismount. All right. Medium deduction on that landing. He's definitely going to be happy. Nice lead off. And taking a look at that first pass, double pike. That was beautiful. That's a high level skill, especially in this code. Not a lot of guys do it. And again, just too much power. Wow, look at that floor rebound when he lands. And very last pass here, triple full. Super difficult to land that with no foot movements. He did a great job minimizing. Again, it's all about not falling, not putting those hands down, not touching the floor. Great job.
Here now is Tyndall the youngest. There are 3 Tyndall brothers in the Big Ten. Wyatt is at Penn State. Jesse is at Ohio State. And Mitch, the freshman from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, is at Nebraska.
So he's looking pretty good so far. He had a nice scissor travel in the beginning. Now he's going to start his travel sequence. Magyar, Savata, you're looking for chest forward. Looking pretty good so far, Nebraska, on this apparatus. And beautiful dismount. Great. That's awesome. Big hit. Another big score.
And that's one of those revamped routines we talked about with Nebraska on floor. Tyndall went back to the workshop over the last 2 weeks, and you see it.
Yeah, again, there's that beautiful scissor travel. It's super difficult to start off with that. You're looking for a super smooth transition. Same thing on the dismount, super smooth all the way up. Look at the team, super amped. Yeah, way to be on pommel horse. That's awesome. It's super exciting, when you just keep the momentum going. For some reason, especially on pommel horse, once energy gets going, you can't stop it. It looks like these are going to be putting up a big pommel horse score for them.
Well, I will see your 2 brothers and raise you my 1 brother. Here's Kevin Penev, his brother Eddie, U.S. senior national team member in his time, is an Emory winner.
Yeah, I grew up competing with Eddie, his brother, and Kevin, has been really impressive coming through the collegiate system. Definitely, has a lot of potential as an athlete, and I'm really looking forward to what he can bring, to the NCAA and to the U.S. system, USAG. All right, let's see if he can stay clean. So far, so good. Pretty clean, non-acro skill. Haven't seen one of these yet today. Bringing a little bit of pommel horse to the floor exercise. I think it's an advantage for the athletes that can do that. You know, there's not a lot of built-in deduction with those pommel horse swings on the floor. So if you can bring them to the floor, it's a definite advantage for your start value, for your execution score, and a nice dismount. You should be happy with that. That was really clean. Great job, Mr. Penna. We're gonna take a look back. Nice double full. It was a slight error, but you know, not from his feet. He might get a little deduction from a little hesitation in his upper body and his arms. And a nice triple full dismount. Small medium deduction there. Should be a little bit happier than that. Come on, my friend.
So serious.
Yes. Hey, gymnastics is hard.
Eric Golder said that was the thing. He was always serious, but it can help him because he'll have a rough routine, but he's still so locked in, he'll hit an E dismount.
Yeah, you know, I can imagine, you know, he puts a lot of pressure on himself. You know, he comes from a gymnastics family. His brother is a national team member, you know, world team member. And, you know, it's his whole life, you know, and he wants to be the best that he can be. All right, big swings. Here we go. Pommel horse, let's see if Nebraska can keep up that momentum. Nice travel. Savato, one pommel into a one pommel sequence here. Nice dismount. Okay, he's a big guy. You can tell when you're up there and you're swinging and your body's longer than the pommel horse. I want to take a look back at these hand positions on his travel. You're going to be looking again at that chest position. He's a big guy. You can see how big his swing is. How much, in my opinion, it's more difficult when you're larger, longer on a pommel horse. So, way to put up a nice routine and continue that energy on. You know, just a couple more routines to go, and he's in. Look at him.
6'1" for Jake Bonai.
He is a big guy.
He's the only 6-foot gymnast on the roster for Nebraska.
Yeah, you know, it's not that common to have a guy over 6 foot in the sport, and when you do, it's always impressive. You know, to see somebody that size doing these things, it's quite a feat.
What's funny is he went on his recruiting trip, and his mom asked the question, "Are you okay with the fact that he's that tall?" That has to be a question to recruit him. Yeah.
You know, there have been a lot of tall gymnasts, you know, in the international scene that have won, you know, Olympic world medals. So it's not always impossible to end up being really good at gymnastics when you're a tall guy.
All right, here is the show though on floor, second in the country with Jacob Moore.
Again, that double-double, it's really impressive to see the high level of difficulty all these guys are doing on the floor exercise. 2.5 punch half, nice landing. You know, it's, again, all about polishing these landings. Beautiful. He's doing a great job. Just minor deductions here and there. You know, you're, in general, wanting, you know, a small hop, small step, and so far so good by Mr. Moore. Non-acro skill and squeeze. You can see that floor bouncing up and down. You have to be really calm. You know, it's almost like going from 100 to 0 in 2 seconds. You gotta breathe, slow yourself down, and another nice landing. This is gonna be a big score.
He's put up a 15-3 this year, the highest score in the country.
One more triple full. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Nice triple full. All right. That was a beautiful routine. Beautiful routine. I want you guys to watch his landing position here. His chest is nice and high. His weight is perfectly balanced right in the middle of his feet. Same thing here. Another one. Small weight transfers, but he is a master. All right, and we got a triple full again. That's so difficult. 3 spins in the air, 1 flip. Somehow managing to stick those feet into that 2 inches of foam. The springboard. And you know, he does it really well. That was impressive. Big score for Michigan. Absolutely. I'm thinking that was one of the best floor routines we've seen so far. Really clean. So we're going to skip ahead right to the pommel horse.
Penna put up a 14, so for perspective, think about what Moore might do. We'll give you that when we get it. But here is Khalil Jackson.
Nice travels, nice chest forward. dismount. Beautiful again. And there's nothing like that feeling. Once you're done, thank goodness I'm done, and it was good.
I think he nailed it.
I think he did too. Check out those hand placements here. He's not touching the pommels as he does his night gear. That makes it even more difficult. Same thing backwards on the Sabato. A lot of times you can use the pommels to move your weight back and forth on the pommel horse, but he didn't need it. He's too much of a pro. And a nice stuck dismount, super smooth, perfect reaction. You know, these guys are having an amazing rotation. They're going to be happy with this event for sure.
Such a young group of gymnasts at Nebraska. You see that youthful exuberance, as cliche as that sounds. But they graduated 8 seniors, 3 All-Americans, have so many freshmen in big-time spots. That puts pressure on you.
Big 14.3, I think if I saw that correctly. But yeah, that's a big score. We got one more routine left on floor, and it's by the former national team member. Double front. That's a big hop there, but it was a beautiful double front. Double full layout. Again, he's trying to dress up those landings. Nice. Just minimize, you know, when you're that last guy, sometimes it's all about just making it through. You can always put up your best guy for last, but sometimes, you know, they have to be able to handle the pressure too. You know, you can't just put up, you know, an easy or hard routine. It's all about strategy.
Break down the strength movements that we just saw as well. The handstand, the first handstand.
Yep.
As compared to the first strength hold that he put himself in, and how that is different and difficult to hold.
Sure, you know, both of these, all these non-acro skills, you're looking for a final position. You got to hold each position, including the handstand, for 2 seconds. His first skill had 2 holds, so he has to keep both of them going strong. 2-second holds. So I'm going to take back that dismount. Triple full. All right, medium-sized deduction, hit routine. We're definitely going to, you know, count that. It's going to be a good team score for Michigan, but I think maybe a highlight on that floor was Mr. Moore. That double front, huge amplitude there, just a hop forward. Medium-sized deduction, in my opinion, there. The judges will take. Slight leg hesitation, a little knee bend there. I'm sure, you know, he's tired, just trying to make it through. I'm sure he can straighten those knees out when he needs to.
I might be wrong too, but that might have been the first eagle handstand that we saw.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, that press is another one that you don't see too often anymore. The judges are looking for that error, that 2-second hold. They're also watching your head and how high up your head is, and can it touch the floor or not.
And now Stevenson.
Last up, the anchor. And this has been a great rotation, so I really want to see it hit here. You know, he's a pro, Nissen Emory Award finalist. There's a reason for it. I'm sure we're going to see that here. Nice travel sequence.
14-4 on floor to start it off for Stevenson, and that little balance check.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm talking about there. I'm talking about that dismount, that slight hesitation. You know, according to the rules, that technically means they cannot give the skill. But let's take a look again and see what we think. That's his travel sequence here. He skipped that second pommel. Really nice job there. We're looking at the dismount. See those toes, they slightly drop down. It all depends on the judges and what they want to do. That could be a major mistake. That could be no credit for the dismount. I don't think they'll take it. You know, it was small enough, but definitely a big routine or big rotation for Nebraska on pommel horse.
Couple of rotations through, and we'll switch apparatuses as we move to our third rotation. Next, rings and vaults coming up from Lincoln.
The BTN Big Ten Day is back. Learn with pride and show off your school spirit in Grand Park in Chicago. Then experience the ultimate post-race fan fest and tailgate party. Register right now at btnbig10k.com.
And the Dodgers are down to their final strike. Red Sox win the World Series. And the best team in baseball wins it all.
Catherine found were dorms that were constructed in the 60s. They needed to be demolished.
What we wanted to do was to study how exactly does a building collapse and what is the impact on all of the other surrounding structures.
It doesn't get any more experiential than being able to take students into a building that is being altered very dramatically. The information gleaned will benefit anyone who's interested in utilizing it to improve the safety, the durability, the longevity of our infrastructure. This particular project doesn't necessarily just influence Nebraska, but it really reaches to the rest of the country and the world. And it's great to be a part of that.
Competitors on the field, partners in curing cancer.
The Big Ten universities have united to drive science rapidly from ideas to new approaches to cancer treatment.
Together, the Big Ten Cancer Centers support the work of 2,600 cancer researchers, care for more than 50,000 new cancer patients each year, and enroll 20,000 patient volunteers on cancer clinical trials.
Go to big10crc.org to learn more and support the Big Ten Cancer Research Consortium.
The 2019 Big Ten Network Big 10K is coming to Grant Park in Chicago. That's on August 11th. Represent your school in the 10K and 5K races and then enjoy an incredible post-race tailgate. Registration is open. Go to btnbig10k.com, btnbig10k.com to register now. Let's take a look at our results through the first couple of rotations. We are done on floor and pommel horse today. What strikes you about what we saw earlier?
You know, let's take a look here. Michigan with that 62.4 on the pommel horse. They're used to an average of a 66.3. So that would be, you know, what I'm going to point out as being something noteworthy. You know, the Wolverines, obviously, they want this win. I think we'll see what happens. You know, the 3 points, a little less than 3 point spread here. But they definitely want to come away from that win for the regular season crown. And they have to keep, you know,
Michigan's behind after
not for nothing.
2 events.
The rankings are what we usually go by to measure, especially men's gymnastics. But for the first time ever, there's now a men's regular season Big Ten championship, which goes off of head-to-head wins and losses. So Michigan really needs the win more than it ever really has before, because if it gets the win and it gets a little bit of help today with an Iowa loss, it's got a Big Ten regular season championship. Nebraska comes in just 1-4. So 3 points, is it something you can make up? Sure. But time starts to run out.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be either will Michigan win it outright or will they tie another team? You know, it's just going to come down to, you know, they just have to put themselves together. You know, minimize those falls. You know, minimize those major deductions. You know, the nerves might be out now. They could be, you know, in for some, you know, more confident performing as we're into the next couple rotations. So I'm not too worried about them, but that last event, those last 2 events, pommel horse, parallel bars and the high bar, they definitely can come with some built-in errors. You know, it's really difficult sometimes to stay on that high bar, you know, keep that team score going, especially when there's a little bit of pressure on. You know, we've seen in the Olympic Games and in World Championships, a lot of major mistakes being made, even in all-around finals, on that high bar when the pressure is on. So there's going to be a little bit of pressure today, and for that regular season crown, I think Michigan has enough experience and the ranking to keep their head on their shoulders.
As we start on still rings for the first time today, it'll be the first and only appearance by Jordan King, the junior out of Houston, Texas. Redshirted last year, was actually away from the team for a semester, went home. There were questions on whether or not he would come back to the Huskers, but Chuck Chamelka, to quote him, since King returned, he is kicking butt as a member of this roster.
And so back to what I was saying about, you know, those non-acrobatic skills on the floor and that 2-second hold. We're going to be looking for that 2-second hold on the rings here. We got a nice plunge in the beginning, nice and flat. Here's another one. You know, this is just a straddle L position. It's not really worth anything, but he still is required to hold it for 2 seconds. Nice giant, and one stuck landing. All right, Nebraska just on fire tonight. On fire. Who knows? Maybe they can come back.
They're coming off 2 low points in the losses at Iowa, and then in a tri-meet with Ohio State and Minnesota. 2 weeks off. They went to the woodshed and really worked on some things, and maybe for Jerry, it's paying off.
Yeah, you know, it comes down to these small things, you know, especially like at the end of the season, those landings, those holds. You know, it's not necessarily just getting through the skills. It's really polishing those small deductions. Back to Mr. Penev on the vault. You can expect big things from him here. Chenko, double full, nice and clean. That's a pretty simple vault. Not too much built-in deduction. I think it's really smart, you know, to use your Chenko style vault. You're watching bent arms. Not really. He pops right off that vault, right up into the air. He's right behind the horse. He's not out of bounds. And a small hop. So 1/10 there, in my opinion.
Good day for Mr. Penev.
Yeah, you know, and Michigan has a couple big vaults coming up later. Anthony McCollum we'll get to see, you know. He has a pretty impressive performance. Looking forward to seeing that in the next couple routines.
Mitch Tyndall will be up next.
Taking some time here, waiting for those scores to come out. The wonderful thing about gymnastics can be how long you have to wait for the scores. You know, that also hugely affects the environment. You know, sometimes you get right up under the lights and it's your time to shine. And sometimes you get up there and you gotta take a little breather. You gotta wait for the judges. Up, they're ready. Here we go.
You're not on your clock.
No, you're definitely on the judges' clock. And you know, they try their best, you know, be on top of their game. But it's hard. You know, they're looking at 10 skills that make up these routines amongst a bunch of different element groups. They have the routines ahead of time, and then most of the time they're just making sure it's what they saw. Here we go for a flange. Slightly high. We're looking for flat holds, 2-second holds, body perpendicular to the floor. That one is a little bit nicer. Maybe it's just a camera angle I'm seeing. Nice giants here. Oh, all he's got to do is hold. The rings should be wide. You don't want the rings to be thin, so you're going to be looking for those rings to look like they're parallel to one another when Mr. Tyndall's upside down.
He had revamped his pommel horse routine and crushed it. He revamped his ring routine a bit as well.
Yeah, it's been good so far. Let's get a... Ooh, that was so good. He could have had that. But just a small, minor mistake on that landing. He should be happy with that for sure.
Michigan vaulting on the other side. They are second in the country on that apparatus, but they are without Emir Cole today, who overall is second in the nation himself individually. He will not compete today.
And that's a 2.5 you're looking at. You just saw Mr. Penev go. He did a double full. This is a 2.5. Excuse me. It is 2.5 rotations. So this is a high level. That was a high level vault that they're without today.
He was the bronze medalist at the NCAA championships last year, so it creates opportunities for other guys to step up.
Yeah, we'll see if Mr. Stretch can do it.
It's a great name for a gymnast.
Marty. And all right, another nice, clean double full, minimizing those landings. You know, they can't complain when they're doing those performances. You know, you're just looking to stay on your feet, stay in bounds. Small, medium deduction on the landing. Obviously, no deduction would be great, but it's all about consistency in the sport with that 5 up, 5 count, and he's coming in clutch. That double full, 2 feet down, 1 step back. Probably a medium-sized deduction on that one.
People will say, well, he took a step. How do you evaluate steps in terms of what the deductions are and how you lose the bonus for the stick versus what's just still a good vault?
Sure, now I don't want to speak for the judges, but it's generally as long as you're within your shoulder width, that's a small deduction. And if you're outside that shoulder width if you're a medium-sized deduction, and if you have to actually leap forward or leap backwards, that's a larger deduction. So back up on rings, looking for that flat body to the ground. Another nice handstand, lick those rings nice and parallel to one another. This is a beautiful handstand actually. Just gotta hold it again. No deduction here. Looking good. Nice Evan. Got Milwaukee's. Hips slightly high.
The facial
And
expression.
another flange. That one looks pretty good too. We're looking, to hold these positions and to be consistent in those positions. He's slightly coming down. He's holding a little high and slightly coming down. And another one just not with a good landing. Nice routine. That was a nice routine. We're gonna take a look back at that. We're gonna watch him hold this skill. You see his hips are a little bit higher than his shoulders. You want to see those hips right in line with those shoulders for no deduction. It'll be a small deduction, but that's what the judges. And again, those hips super high coming in. Replay there. And again, we're just looking for parallel body shape to the floor. Each skill is a little different, but for those flanges, you're looking for chest, shoulders, hips, right parallel with the ground.
A couple of 14s for Penn and Stretch. Here now is Nick Guy.
Those were pretty clean. Let's see if we can keep it up.
Starts with a really high start value. Just has to keep it straight.
Yurchenko style. Oh, he spoke too soon. He did the same vault that Kevin did on the first routine that we saw on vault. Just a double full here, and it's Yurchenko style. So there's not a lot of built-in deduction for that skill. His hand, look at that hand off to the side. Watch his hand on this next one. He's right to the side. He almost missed that vault. Thank goodness he was able to pop himself back into bounds. That's pretty risky there, when you get close to the sides. You have to rely on that contact, that hand to vault contact, to pop up in the sky, and that's when big injuries can occur when you lose control. I don't mean to point it out, but definitely that was a risk there, and I'm glad that nothing worse happened. It was a nice vault.
Joshua Everett now on rings.
Nice flat position.
Look at the intensity on the faces of these guys as well. How do you breathe when you do this? How do you pace yourself?
Yeah, that's something that everyone has to evaluate on their own. Every athlete. Another nice flat hold. These are nice. This guy's strong. These are nice strength holds, but you have to build in your breathing, and that's really difficult for a lot of people to do because you're pushing through, and you're not thinking about your breathing. And that's super important for your muscles to recover and get ready for that next strength hold. L hold here. Nice. Hollow back press. Handstand hold into full-on dismount. Stuck landing. Nebraska. They are here to play tonight. They are here to play. Maybe they're trying to mess with Michigan. What do you think?
Here's the best part. This is their worst event.
And look at that.
By far.
Flat body shape. That's perfect. Can't ask for a better shape on that Maltese. This guy's super strong. Nice job, Josh.
They're 14th in the country on rings. There's only 22 teams.
I mean, from what I'm seeing, I can imagine they're going to come out a little bit higher than they usually perform. Back to the vaults.
Jacob Moore in the 4 spot. And then we will see Anthony McCallum after that, the 2-time NCAA champion.
He certainly deserves it. It's a super risky vault that we'll see next. First up, Mr. Moore. Nice double fall out of the stock landing. Look at that face. All right, good job. That's what we're looking for, minimizing those landings. There was no mistake here. You get a small built-in deduction on these style of vaults. That left separation, you can see it right there in the beginning, but no other deduction on this routine, just that stuck landing. Not that it's a deduction, like I said, but definitely getting the job done. Good job, Jake. And we have a finale, finishing it out last with Mr. McCullough.
14.3 on 4. Away for Michigan. He might, depends what McCallum does, lead the way play on vault as well, as Anton Stevenson steps up for his third event today. He went 14-4 on floor, 13-6 on horse. Best scores on both events for the Huskers.
You know, I love that he's here again in the anchor spot. You know, I fully expect to see a stuck dismount out of him. Let's see if he can come through for me.
Former Big Ten vault champion.
All right, we have a planche there. A nice 2-second hold, straddle out, lift those hips a little high. Trying to stay in that consistent shape again. You're looking at a consistent shape. You don't want to be moving in those holds up or down. You want to be in the same consistent spot. You want to be in the right spot, and you want to hold it. Nice swing skills. We haven't seen too many of those yet. They're pretty standard for rings. Everybody can use them to get those D and the C. Small arm bend on the press handstand, but here we go for the grand finale. It was a beautiful dismount, but you know, he didn't get that stuck dismount that I was looking for. I think he definitely was looking for it. You know, that's what happens when you do a little small hop forward. He had his chest forward. Let's take a look back at that set, though. His hips are a little high. He's not quite in a perfect shape. He's hesitant a little bit on the shape that he wants there. That'll be a small error, not a big one. Those swing skills, Yamawaki, Jonathan, add that high difficulty in the swings. And beautiful dismount, chest forward, hands forward. He knows how to stick. It's evident, you know, with that landing shape. He knows what to look for. Hands nice and forward. Chest forward, feet together, shoulder width apart. Looking good.
Still looking at probably a 68, which would be their season high on rings as well. Let's talk about McCallum, though. Why is he going to impress you right now?
He's going to do a double flipping skill. We haven't seen it. We won't see it from anybody else in this competition. And it's in a pike position. It's one of the world's most difficult skills. Can you imagine? It's like 3 flips, essentially. You know, you have to have good contact in the beginning. Let's take a look back. Hand contact, push right up nice and high. You got to grab those knees and hope that you get around. You know, it's such a high, difficult start value. It's such a high start value that, you know, no matter how he lands, as long as he lands it, it's going to be the highest score than it, in my opinion.
Well, Michigan trying to make a comeback on vault, but Nebraska not letting them. Season high score on rings. Get it, Huskers. 4th rotation's next.
Everybody's
Sports fans are gearing up at Vantage.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Vantage.com, officially licensed everything.
I am the DQ Chicken Strip Basket, and I have gone flavor crazy. Try spicy sweet glazed made with Frank's Red Hot or honey barbecue glazed. Either way, ranch me for maximum flavor craziness, because I'm not fast food. I am fan food.
Just give it your all, go to infinity. My world is so much better. My world is so much bigger. I love it when we come together. My world is so much better.
Notre Dame, Penn State. The 2019 Big Ten Men's Ice Hockey Tournament Championship. Tonight at 8 Eastern on BTN and the Fox Sports app.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Big Ten Conference and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Big Ten Conference.
Later today on BTN, the 2019 Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships continue. Live coverage of Session 2. That's coming up later today right here on BTN and the Fox Sports app. Morning session, you see the scores from this morning. Who went where, decided a couple of weeks ago in the Big 5 Championships. Everyone competing else at 5 o'clock tonight. Well, let's go down on the floor now and say hey and check in with Kurt Golder. 22 years as the head coach of Michigan. And Coach, you've had an interesting run here to start things off. Jacob Moore has done really well for you on 3 apparatuses.
Yes, he has. He's a real steady performer for us, and he has a knack of sticky landings, as you just saw on ball.
Hey Kurt, I have a question. You know, this new regular season title, what's the vibe like down there? Are you guys super excited to, you know, potentially have that locked in tonight, or?
Well, I hope we do, but we've got our work cut out for us.
Yeah.
You know, it's a close meet right now, at 1 point separating us. But they're going to vault where you typically score a little higher, so I would imagine they'll leapfrog us, and it'll come down to the last 2 events and probably the last routine of the night.
I was going to say, Kurt, tell me about where you're going right now on still rings, what you're looking for, and who you're looking for something special or big out of this afternoon.
Well, just the whole team. We have a pretty strong ring lineup, and you know, I'm looking for big scores from all of them.
You know, and I guess the last question, Kurt, what do you think is going to be your biggest hurdle tonight in terms of which event is going to be your nemesis here in the last couple rotations?
Well, I think we've already faced it. We went to Pommel Horse, and we weren't very clean there. We got through, we hit all our routines, but they just weren't what they could be.
Well, good luck. I'm super excited to see how it pans out for you guys.
Thank you. Don't look.
This is Kurt Golder, 22 years the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines, and in line with a win today to clinch the first ever Big Ten regular season championship. It's never existed before, and in the sport of gymnastics, for the most part, you're worried about your team's score. The head-to-head doesn't matter so much. If you go out and throw up the biggest score possible but lose to Oklahoma, you're still going to be second in the country. It makes the head-to-head mean something, which is cool. These two teams have not competed head-to-head since 2014, so it schedules things a little bit differently.
Yeah, you know, and it definitely brings things down, you know, to the moment. You know, gymnastics is such a difficult sport. These athletes are doing some incredibly difficult, you know, skills, and they have to do them really well. They can't be falling, you know, they have to be able to do them really well. You know, we're watching and we're saying, oh wow, that looks really easy, but all this stuff is really hard. You know, it's really hard, and they've worked their whole lives to get here. So, you know, it brings it down to the pressure and in the moment, and these guys have to be consistent.
This is Marty Stretch leading things off on rings. The cleanest you will ever see is what Kurt Golder told us.
All right, we got a nice flat planche into handstand, nice and solid. Parallel rings, 2-second hold. Another front giant here, small hesitation, maybe about a 10. Big swings, again. You generally want those 2 skills in your routine if you want the highest start value. You really need a little bit of a staple on this event. Nice handstand, Marty, into a full and does not stop landing. All right, you know, Kurt, see, this is what he's talking about. They have a consistent, strong ring lineup, and it looks like they're ready to not give up those small things. So they are ready to take on that challenge. And this first strength hold, planche, man, he's nice and flat, but look at all that energy it took out of him. You know, it's not easy. You know, when you zoom in there, slow it down, you can really see the small things.
You see each individual vein popping.
Yes. Hi, how are you? I'm not so good.
Charlie Giles is leading off. He's leading off his 3rd of 4 apparatuses as a true freshman in college.
Well, that just says, you know, it speaks volumes to his performance ability and his confidence. You know, he knows he's going to hit. Not only does he know, his coaches know, and it's 2.5. Beautiful. Yurchenko style, clean vault. Again, like I said, no built-in deduction. 2.5, that's a high start value collegiately. Nice landing, not out of bounds. Watch, see, no bent arms, pop right up in the air. Legs glued together, small step forward. And there's Mr. Hartung in the back. Beautiful landing. There he is again in the corner. Good job. Olympian himself, kind of part of the Nebraska program, you know, big part of their success. Good job.
A couple of years for Jim Hartog in the Olympics.
Yep. Moving back to rings, we have Mr. Reed coming up. You know, again, on rings, probably we're going to see the scores build here. Rings is one of the most consistent events in gymnastics. It's hard to mess these routines up. You know, it's the only way you can really mess these routines up is if you have an injury or if you fall on your dismount.
And it's really, more than anything else, this is brute strength.
Yes, it is. Now we're looking at nice planche. And into a, wow, that was 2 strength moves in a row there. That was really unique and really good. Like I said, we're going to see that difficulty go up in lineup and the potential for score to go up.
And he's strong. Like, this looks easy.
Yeah, he is really strong. And those flanges, those Malteses, they're really difficult. They take years to build, especially as consistent as James is demonstrating now. Nice. Even that press handstand, you don't see his forearms touch the rings. You see a lot of guys, all right, nice dismount, small hop. You know, like I said, it's super important just to land these dismounts, get a small hop in, be confident. Look at that beautiful flat, straight body plunge into a Maltese. That's really hard. It's going to increase the difficulty. You know, like I said, we're going to see it go up, I have a feeling, in the next couple routines, and those scores are going to go right along with them. Into the dismount here, almost in a laid out position. You know, I think they should talk about maybe making that laid out going forward. That was beautiful dismount, and he's certainly strong enough to do it.
On a 13-6 by Marty Stretch. Charlie Giles threw up a 14-6-5.
Big score.
Joshua Martin.
Duke, 2.5. All right, another 2.5, but look at how close he was to the edge of the mat. You know, landing out of bounds, that's a bigger deduction than stepping out of bounds. So he's going to be a little disappointed with that. It'll affect his start score more or less. 2.5, huge. Look how far he went, though. He almost made it to the end of the mat and to the side of the mat. You don't want to see that, but he's just got to be a little bit more, you know, more straight on when he comes into contact in the beginning. But so much power, so much brute strength. Feet slightly apart in the beginning.
And it's not like he even caught the springiest part of the board.
Yeah, no, look how strong he is, though. Look at that. He's a little meatball.
Here's Ryan Dunning. He is a rings specialist. He is an All-American. He was 3rd in the country last year. And most remarkably, he led off rings at the NCAA championships. He went 1st. And that score held the entire time to keep him on the point.
And, you know, I don't know why they would have put him 1st, but, you know, it definitely makes sense if he placed that high, you know, up in the NCAA. And we have a nice cross. We haven't seen too many crosses tonight. And the transition between each skill here is really important. There are
Michigan Wolverines, men's gymnastics.
Like I was just explaining, you can't stay in one position too long. We have to stay in the position for a specific 2-second hold. Nice handstands, nice swing. Again, nice smooth transition. Straddle is a breathing time for him right before he gets in to get ready for that dismount. Again, we're looking at those dismount landing, small hop. That's going to be a big score for sure. And again, we saw a couple extra strength moves in that routine from the last one. We're going to keep building up as we go. Here's an iron cross. We haven't seen too many tonight. He does it perfect. His arms are parallel with the ground. This skill, you're looking for those parallel arms, not a parallel body. And then into that dismount again. Small leg bend in the beginning. They definitely should work on that.
Says Wolverines fall to Nebraska, capture share of Big Ten regular season title.
Perspective is Dunning actually went to Kurt Golder at the end of last season with 3 weeks left in the year and said, I want to change my rings routine against advice of his coaches. He changed it. turned out to be right, and that's what got him the third place.
So the Nebraska Cornhuskers won this
It's all about
event.
picking things that you feel comfortable with in your body. You know, what can you do? What can you feel comfortable and confident doing, especially when the pressure's on? Here we go. Zach Peters. Big 2.5 again. These guys are going for it. These guys are going for it. These are big start values. You know, Michigan had a bunch of double fulls, and we're seeing a bunch of 2.5s. You know, they're not playing it safe. And traditionally, they've always been good on floor and ball, but that's a big, very small leg separation at the beginning. Medium-sized deduction. I'm not thinking, let's see if he went out of bounds. Let's watch one more time. Landing.
Final score on March 23rd. Michigan 403.80. Nebraska 408.7.
A little bit. That's going to be a big score. Bigger than the last one. What did we had Mr. Mark?
14-1 for Mark.
All right, that's pretty good.
Here's Jacob Moore again. We'll see him 5 times today. The only thing he will not do is high bar.
Can he keep it up? We're certain he's not doing high bar, right?
As far as we know.
All right. So he's prepping that hand. He's prepping his grip. See those rubber bands on his hands? They keep the grips from slipping. You want to be able to rely. Again, nice iron cross, perfectly parallel with the ground. Here we go into some strength skills. Nice plunge. Little hesitation on his handstand. You don't want to see that, but it's a small error. Just giving away little tense here and there, but you know they're fighting for it. Hips a little high on the way down. Nice straddle plunge. Not quite a consistent position. Again, like I said, we're looking for a hold, consistent shape. You kind of move through that skill pretty quickly, so that'll be a mistake. But a beautiful, of course. Beautiful stuck landing. Way to recover. I mean, it's rings again. It's rings again, not like there's too much room for error. But he definitely capitalized on that dismount and really made sure that it counted. We're going to take a look one more time. Knees are glued together, even on that landing. Feet don't even move at all. That is a true stick. No deduction will be taken there.
4 events down for Jacob Moore. Now Jake Bunai.
All right, let's see those big vaults keep coming here. Would love to see this meet get interesting.
Top 3 finisher of this event last year.
And a big double full. All right, yeah, that's a big score too. That wasn't the highest difficulty, like I said. Just a double full here, but one tiny step. You know, in gymnastics, it's all about weighing the options. You know, can I do the 2.5 or should I do the double full? How am I going to get the highest score? Can I land the 2.5 better or can I land the double full better? Am I confident that I'm going to land it every single time under pressure? And these guys look like they have it under control on the vault, that's for sure. Great event so far, Nebraska.
Well, and what can I do and what can I do cleanly?
Exactly.
Like what is my ceiling and what is my attainability?
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's hard, you know, as an athlete. A lot of these guys want to do the hard stuff. You know, they want to do the 2.5. They want to do the double flip. You know, and sometimes it's not always the smartest decision. You know, I know we're judging, we have judges. It's a subjective sport, but you know, at the end of the day, it does come down to what can you do consistently. How can you get the highest score? How can you do things the best according to the rule book? You know, the rule book that all the guys know in and out. The coaches have to know all the rules. It's a really complicated sport, and these guys they know what they're doing. They know how to perform. And every year, it's different. You can just build them.
Waiting for a score verification before Cameron Bach heads up on the rings. 4th in the country on this apparatus.
All right, Cameron. Let's see what you got today. Nice, smooth movement here. He's breathing, getting ready for his routine here. That Maltese is a little uneven from this camera angle. Sometimes a little different when you're at the judge's perspective. But it looks like his chest is a little bit high. Chest is higher than those toes. And he's getting ready for his next hold, hips, nice handstand, beautiful handstand, arms nice and straight. Nice control here. Big swings, pulling those rings up. Super powerful gymnast. Yes, beautiful press handstand. No ring turn at all. We're getting ready for the dismount here. Double double. Chest a little low. He recovered really well though. He recovered. That's a good routine. Again, we're just looking for hit sets for Michigan. You know, they have to clinch that regular season crown. Looking at this Maltese, we're looking at a flat chest, hips, and feet to the ground. We look for a complete flat board to the ground. So I think he's gonna get a little nick there on those Malteses. It's really hard to do it, so it definitely makes it worth doing. You know, it's a high level skill. It adds a lot into your start value. You're just gonna have a little bit of a deduction there. And those, so that head, that chest, slightly low onto this mount. You might be a little gassed. You know, he's been competing a lot this year. I'm sure he's just getting tired. We have a couple more rotations to go though. He's gotta amp it up.
When you asked about more doing all around, same with Bach.
Yep, and here we go.
It's their decision whether they want to do it. Bach didn't do
This
vault.
is a big, sorry, we'll go back to it, but this is a big stick here. I don't know how he does it. They should make some sort of award for this. we should definitely, you know, we should make an award for this. You know, I think last season, don't quote me, but Jessica Frankel would tell me that was a 6-time occurrence, and a repetition. He can do this time after time, and it's so hard. He's coming backwards onto the table, twisting 2.5 times into the floor, and just a blind landing. You can't see where the floor is. You can't see it. So he's landing with his head up, facing the sky, and he sticks it time after time again. It's really amazing. I can't believe that he just did it again. That's great. I love it.
Number one vaulter in the country, Anton Stevenson, caps off our 4th rotation. Move things over to high bar and P bars next.
Tonight, we guide you through the bracket with in-depth analysis. Plus, hear from players and coaches as the quest for a championship continues. Big Ten basketball and beyond. Tonight on BTN.
We need to make huge strides in working towards a more sustainable future, and this kind of a building, it's a success story.
We are in a student-built sawmill building. It was built with a lot of renewable sources, such as sawmills and mud and clay, and those are also a lot of local sources, which also further brings down the CO2 emissions.
A lot of the materials that are used in conventional buildings are not good for the environment. They pollute water and they pollute the air, and this building uses materials that are less toxic and less damaging, and they take less energy to pull out of the ground.
So as we're trying to push towards carbon neutrality, we need more awareness and we need more creativity. And this is a place for us to have a conversation about sustainability, about carbon reduction. And if we can grow a crop of students that are empowered and feel strong, I think we have a much better chance of reducing our carbon footprint.
Michigan Wolverines need a victory for an outright Big Ten regular season championship, the first one ever awarded. Nebraska trying to rain on the parade here on their senior day, and Chuck Chamelka joins us, head coach of the Cornhuskers. Happy to be a party ruiner today for you guys. You guys are competing really well.
Well, thank you. We have to for our seniors. They're too important for our team.
What's going into it, particularly the last two rotations, rings and vault, you guys put up season bests?
You know, we've been doing some different things in practice, and it's paying off. We've had two pretty horrible meets actually before this, and we just took a gut check and really started changing some things, and it's working so far. We just got to finish this now.
Chuck, looking at the scores, this is going to be a nail biter based on your guys' average scores per event. How confident are you guys in your last event, high bar, to cleanly finish it up and get out of there on top?
Well, we've been doing a lot of practice, and fixing things, so I am 100% very confident.
Amazing.
Chuck Shimelka, congratulations thus far, and good luck finishing this one off.
Thanks so much, you guys. Appreciate it.
Parallel bars is up next for the Cornhuskers, where they rank 5th in the country. They are 8th on the high bar. So if you want to look at this statistically, this is where they can make up some ground. Anton Stevenson is their best bet, the champion.
Yeah, this is a look back on his Big Ten championship performance last year that he won. Definitely we're going to be looking for big performances on Nebraska. We'll see if they can hold it together and come out with that win today, make it a little bit more interesting for the regular season title.
He was the champion on vault in the Big Ten last year as well. He is the champion today on vault. A 15.05 for Anton Stevenson on vault. Very nearly a career high for him.
What a great day for him. He's looking super confident, You can absolutely see why he, has been an Instant Memory Award finalist, award winner finalist, and he deserves that title. He deserves, a shot at that name, and he's looking great tonight. I'm super excited to see him finish it off.
He'll be in the anchor spot on P-bars, leading things off though, Dylan King, the freshman out of Eagle Mountain, Utah.
All right, here we go. Ranked 5th, Nebraska, and Michigan ranked 4th on this event. That skill we just saw is really risky. Your hand has to hit the bar perfectly. Not quite a great handstand there. Nebraska's good too, they're known to be super clean and consistent though, so I really have high expectations from the next two rotations. He's looking confident. We had just a small error in the beginning. This is a great routine so far. Great lead off. Come on, Dylan. Big stick, come on. All right, small landing. Perfect lead off routine. That's what we're going to want to see if they're going to want to keep this competition interested. They're on top right now. A lot of pressure. Look at that hand. It comes from all the way around the side of his body and comes back to the bar. That is a risky skill. I've seen a lot of people miss it. I've seen a lot of people slightly move their hands and break their fingers, or miss their hands, catch it with their shoulder. But he did a really nice job. Nice landing there.
And it's a tough spot to be in if you're Dylan King. He's on 2 events and 2 events only. It's the high bar and the parallel bars. He's been waiting around for an hour.
Yeah, it's really difficult. That's when strategy comes into play with warming up. He definitely took a turn, I'm sure, one touch or had a way to warm himself up.
Let's talk about the same thing though here for Justin Hopgood. His first and only event, and he's 11th in the country.
All right, well, he's 11th. That's pretty good. So nice release move. That was big. All right, that is a quast. Looking for handstand position. Again, that's another spin move. These skills sometimes have a little bit of a deduction because it's really difficult to land it in handstand, to finish the skill, land it in handstand. He did a really nice job though. It's a risky skill, but worth the difficulty. And here we go for the dismount. Half in, half out stretch, and a stick. Good job. He's definitely going to be happy with that. Good job, Justin.
You're waiting around for an hour or an hour and a half. You better grab your moment, and Hopgood does exactly that.
Nice Kovacs here, super high. That's one of the most, impressive skills to see on the high bar. Not a lot of guys have the guts to put it in their routine, but Justin has no fear. Look at that face. He's pumped. That was a really nice routine. That's going to score big.
It was also a change in the original lineup for Michigan, too. The first one submitted was Marty Stretch in the leadoff spot. So Hopgood gets the leadoff spot in place of Stretch and kills it.
All right, here we go, number 2. Again, you don't want any mistakes. Just get through the routines. 1 and 2. He's good. Nice press handstand. He's getting ready to start his difficult skills. Even another Healy there. That skill's called front uprise from 1 1/4. Judges are looking for soft landing there. Nice handstand hold. Front uprise, Suarez here. That's really a high level skill. This is a packed routine, so sum it off. Stutz. And a right here. Man, Nebraska, they're just on fire.
Way to fight for it.
You gotta give it to them.
Take me inside Keeler's head just to hold that landing.
Sure, I mean, this event is probably the hardest event to stick, and it's probably the event that most teams put the most work into practicing sticks. You know, these double pikes, everyone does them, but they're really hard. You know, you're flipping really fast. You're in a pike shape, so your hips are back. There's a huge predisposition to just throw yourself backwards. So you have to come out right at the exact time and squeeze your body. Try to hold yourself into the floor. So great job. I'm really happy with Nebraska right now.
Here is Alec Kristic now. You see Marty Stretch, originally the leadoff man, now in the 3 spot for Michigan.
That was a nice score though, 13-9 leadoff. Nice release move. That's a combo. Gonna keep swinging big here, looking for confidence. Nice top half. Another release move coming up. Takachev, straddle. Nice, adding a little bit of style to the high bar here. Nice hop, throwing those hands out, crossed. Another crossed into a spin. Getting right in front of this man. Let's see, can he stick it? Got that foul laid out. Yeah. Nice job. That was a good routine. I like that start in the beginning of the routine. That's actually how I used to compete on the high bar with that combo. It's a really easy way to add difficulty to your set. 2 release moves in a row. Beautiful legs. Everything's together. Nice transition into a beautiful laid out, half and half out, stuck landing. You know, high bar, we're doing bigger skills here. I think it's a little bit easier to stick those landings. It's definitely a lot harder to hang on to the bar than if you're comparing, you know, the parallel bars and the high bar. It's like high bar comes with its highs and its lows. You know, parallel bar should be a little bit more consistent, performance based. Nice mount, right into handstand.
He was at the NCAA finals on this last year.
Nice. Handstand, we're looking for handstand consistency here. Suarez. Those feet need to be above the bar when he finishes that skill. He did a good job of that. Stutz. Beach support. Hold. Again, we just need another stick. Can we do it? We're gonna find out. And stay. Again, see what I'm talking about? Those are really difficult. Those are really difficult to stick those feet in the ground and stay. You know, he did what matters most. Consistent, clean routine, just small errors here and there. Let's look at this mount one more time. Front uprise, front flip, catch the bar, and then swing into handstand. You gotta hold that handstand. You did a nice job of that to avoid deduction. And a nice catch, nice smooth knees over the high, over the bars, excuse me, for the Suarez, and a small hop on the distance. This is a little bit forward. He's probably gonna have a little too small deductions for that, but way better than a medium or a large error.
Well, and you're at the point now, if you're a Nebraska gymnast, you are jacked up to get up there and compete.
Yeah, definitely they're excited.
They can feel the fact that they are competing well, and I mean, Chuck Chamelka told us they had 2 bad back-to-back matchups. He called them lousy meets when he spoke to us earlier this week. The last 2 weeks they went into the workshop, and it has paid off big time. Now Marty stretch.
Yep, back to Marty. Let's see if we can get another clean routine, no falls by Michigan. Blue is looking good on high bar so far. Layout Tkachev. Another Tkachev in a straddle, and he did a half turn that adds difficulty to Tkachev. That's really smart. Again, keep increasing that difficulty score. Nice jam. Nice eagle endo. Handstand. Marty's a very pretty gymnast. Great lines, great technique. Demonstrating that for us on high bar. Getting ready for the dismount. You're going to get another stick. What do you think?
Yes.
Oh, almost. Just a small hop. Oh, Marty, that was a beautiful routine. Very minimal deduction here. They're absolutely going to like that one. In the 5th rotation, guys are tired. We're just looking for, staying on the bar. Hold on the bar. Look, that's all that matters. Nice layout, Tkachev there. Straight body. Your heels drive that skill. We're going to look at one more here. Straddle, half turn. Looking for that body to twist before you hit the bottom of the swing. You did a great job.
I just had a feeling. It's close. It's close.
Yeah. It was almost correct.
Let's talk about where Nebraska is just as a team right now.
Sure.
With the 2-week layoff that we've alluded to a couple of times.
Yep.
This will be Evan Hymanson now on parallel bars. But what is it like as a team when you've struggled and you go back into literally how to recatch a high bar and how to do a Kovacs from the basics again? They broke things down over the last 2 weeks.
It's definitely difficult. It's really difficult to do that, but it's really important to do that. To remember, the little things. It's those little things that count. This P-bar routine that we're watching right now, it comes down to those little things. And those you have to rely on those little check marks in your head. You have to feel out the basics. We're gonna watch.
This is a routine
to pelt that just happened here. It's really difficult not to touch the floor. Go ahead.
Chuck Chamelka has called this maybe the highest start value or most difficult routine in the nation on P-bars.
Yeah, it's looking really good so far. That was a little short of a handstand. He's tired. This is a difficult routine, as you said. Just that dismount. Yeah. And he seals the deal. We have one more routine on parallel bars for Nebraska, but that was really nice. We're going to look at this to pelt one more time. You're looking at your arched hollow shape and throwing yourself forward about 5 feet, catching the bar, and you have to do it without touching your feet. So he did a great job. No feet touching the floor, no legs touching the bars, and he finished it off with a nice clean landing on the dismount. Like I said, that's a really difficult thing to do. It's easy to get ahead of yourself and to throw yourself backwards or to put your hands down in front by trying to stick the landing, but he did not falter.
Anthony Tofik will compete in this event and only this event today, a specialist for blue.
Again, that's really hard to do, 5 rotations in, he's got those beginner jitters. Nice layout, Tkachev. That was really high up there. And a straddle. A little bit close on the catch. Nice cross. That was way up in the air. Nice half turn. Nice, jam. All right, well, I'll tell you what just happened. He came out in his jam and didn't maintain pressure on the bar. So when his body started to fall through, there was too much gravity pulling himself. So we're gonna watch one more time. He pushes up, and that right hand, he didn't hold on. He isn't pushing away from the bar enough. He allowed his body to close off. So that's an unfortunate mistake. Michigan's going to count that. It's going to make it a lot easier for Nebraska to hold on to their lead. Definitely a disappointment, but again, it all counts. Nebraska has to do high bar next, so he has to finish this clean. He's got to get a stick. That's a eagle endo, really difficult skill again. Him and Marty did it. Another endo. He's getting ready for his dismount here. after his staller, sorry. And we want to see a stick here. We want to see a stick. For pride here. All right. Way to clean it up, though. Nice finish. That's going to be a disappointment for him. His only performance of the night.
It is 5 up, 5 count, as you alluded to. No sixth gymnast where you can drop a score. His options in that scenario were what? You can see him kind of try to hold on, but at that point, just drop down.
Yeah, you know, you have to make the decision if you need to do the skill again. You know, do you have to do it again? Did you get credit for it? So generally, if you do the skill and you make it through the bottom of the swing, you get credit. So it looked like he probably got credit for it. He's just going to take a major fall. Mr. Stevenson, back again. He's ready to play. All around today. I expect big things on. There's another
This is Emery Trophy finalist, the Heisman Trophy of men's gymnastics.
Nice peach half turn. Nice Diamidov. He's confident, swinging big here. He's ready to handle the pressure. There is no pressure in his mind. He's just ready to go for it. Wow, that was a huge cross, feet, chest, everything above the bar when he caught. Beautiful set. Nice stick. Oh, baby. Anton. We're going to give you a gold star today. We're going to give you a gold star. That was wonderful. That was a beautiful routine. Super confident. High level difficulty. Peach half turn there. It's a peach and you pop your body onto the one bar. Imagine holding a handstand, my friends watching this, let alone a handstand on one bar and having to come back in the middle without falling. And this is dismount. So beautiful, beautiful routine.
His worst score today is a 13.5 on rings. He's put up a 14.4 on floor, a 15 on vaults, encroaching on a career high. We'll await what he just did on parallel bars, but it will likely be a big number.
Absolutely.
And now Bach will follow Toffek. And Michigan will need a big number here.
Yeah, he's a very talented gymnast. I think it's going to be a big routine. Falls happen in gymnastics. You know, like you said in the beginning, they expect about 2.5 falls. So I don't think we're quite over that yet. We're definitely somewhere where we expect. In their next event, nice. Oh, I spoke too soon. Anyways, but that was one of the hardest release moves to do, especially under pressure. You see guys fall all the time doing these backward flipping skills. You're blind to the bar, the pressure's on. We see it at the Olympic Games, World Championships. Titles they're made and they're broken on this event, unfortunately.
At what point in that do you know you were in trouble? When you try to regret?
You know at the top. You can't see the bar. You can feel it, quite honestly. But let's see if you can finish. Recover well. Come on, Cameron. Nice touch and half turn. Nice jam. Right to handstand. No deductions. And he's gonna. That's nice. I don't know exactly how much that's worth, but they have made that more valuable in this current code. I think it's pretty hard on your shoulders, so you have to be pretty healthy to do that. Double, small little air. Good routine. He's gonna be disappointed to miss, his big release move. That Kovacs is exciting to watch. It's exciting to do. There's a lot of adrenaline that you get from doing it, so it's very easy to be off.
Nebraska puts up another huge score, though, 69.7 on parallel bars, another season high. Finishing off next.
You think Houston's going to end up taking a point guard this year?
Why would we do that?
You have to think ahead. Take a Roof as an example. Probably has a few good years left, but at some point you're going to want to invest in a younger, more handsome Roof.
Watch the game, Cole. Talking way too much, man.
Hey, look. They got one of those purple mattresses. I've heard about these. It's supposed to sleep cool, and especially designed to cradle your pressure points.
Huh? Freeze!
Sometimes there's a truth burning to be told in its own way.
Anna is a true story of an enslaved woman who jumped from a window and lived to sue for her freedom. The purpose of the entire project is to expand our sense of the enslaved.
This is a historical drama. We wanted viewers to be with Anna on the ledge. My colleagues are, in my mind, superheroes. Doing this film was intensely collaborative, intensely creative. It involved students, faculty, actors, and musicians. It's like nothing I've ever had the opportunity to do.
It was an educational opportunity for all of us in the core team, and it was a great learning opportunity for students.
As a student, it was definitely a life-changing experience. Seeing everybody's hard work kind of come together really makes me feel fulfilled.
Tomorrow on BTN, it's another great men's gymnastics matchup as Illinois and Ohio State go toe-to-toe. Live coverage begins tomorrow at 5 Eastern, right here on BTN and the Fox Sports app. We have no idea who Paul Ruggieri is pulling for in that one.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to say, but ILL.
Michigan right now is your leader in the Big Ten overall, though. 4-1 in conference, and for the first time ever, there is a regular season champion. They could win it outright if they come from behind on this last rotation, but man, Nebraska has had a day, which means Iowa has a chance.
Yeah, you know, it's looking like Michigan, is gonna be opening up that regular season title for a potential tie and maybe a loss, you know, with that Iowa team in that tri-meet. If Iowa wins that tri-meet, they can win. You know, so I would be a little bummed out if I was on the Michigan squad right now. You know, this is the first time ever that they're giving this award out. You know, it's probably an exciting moment. I'm sure they're going to get shirts and the whole...
There's only one first.
Yeah, exactly. There's only one title, so... but, you know, this is gymnastics, and I've seen crazy things happen. High bars, I've seen them rip out of the ground, so I don't ever want that to happen, but, you know, you never know what's going to happen until a fat lady has sung.
You can see whatever it takes written on those shirts for Nebraska.
Yeah.
If you're the Huskers, like, this puts you in a great spot. Big Ten Championships coming up April 5th and 6th. This could very easily go down, if not, like, has already gone down, as your best performance of the season. Nice thing to build off of after what we've talked about, the last 2 weeks of workshopping and changing and getting yourself into a good place.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and in some ways, the season is coming to a close, but it's just getting started. You know, you have this regular season title being named, you have the Big Ten title, and you have the NCAA title, which is obviously the big one for all these guys. You know, we have a lot of time still until that competition. You know, we have about a little less than a month before the NCAA is, so there's a lot of time for injuries to occur. There's a lot of time to build confidence in your performance.
Injuries to unoccur.
Yeah, injuries to unoccur. Exactly. So we'll see, you know, how tonight ends up. It's just going to be icing on the cake for whoever, you know, takes that regular season crown home tonight.
We talked about it off the top. Nebraska is without Austin Lober today and Evan Criley. Lober is done with a torn bicep. Evan Criley, though, there's a chance he could come back for Chuck Jamalka, at least on pommel horse for the Big Ten Championships. And Criley has been a guy that can put up almost a 14. He's been in the 13.9s this year on that apparatus, so get healthy over this span and give yourself every opportunity in the world. The gap is not all that big.
Yeah, you know, gymnastics, the sport is so difficult. These injuries happen all the time, you know. It's unfortunate, but these things, you know, they're carrying around, you know, 150, 160, 170, sometimes more pounds, you know, and we're doing, you know, skills that test, you know, G-force, you know, that really bring, you know, a new level of athleticism to the world. So I'm really, you know, sad to see injuries happen, but it's it's really prevalent in our sport.
This is Mitchell Brown, who we saw the Heat start the day on pommel horse.
Sorry about that. Joel, nice peach handstand. Studs Diamidov. Nice giant. And so that was really nice. You're looking for your knees to be finishing above the bars. If I remember in the glory days correctly. Press handstands, calming down, getting ready, slowing down for the dismount. Nice. Either stoy in Russian, that means stick. We hear a lot of people screaming that in gymnastics. All right. Not a bad landing, not a bad routine. Great lead off for Michigan. Nice job, Mitch. And that giant handstand to the very smooth Suarez transition. And again, you can tell how crunched these guys are when they land those double pipes. It's really hard to do. And honestly, it hurts. You know, it hurts their ankles. It hurts their ankles and knees and backs. So. All right, here we go. Operation Stay on the Bar.
Well, when you say it like that.
That's what it is.
Griffin Keeler will lead things off. Already 3 event season highs for Nebraska on vault, rings, and parallel bars. Their high bar high is 67.2. It's plenty attainable for a phenomenal senior day.
Yeah, okay, nice release. It's one of the easier ones to do, but it adds that difficulty that everybody needs. One-arm giant. Beautiful so far, and another one-arm giant. He's doing a really unique routine tonight.
First one-arm skill we've seen on the high bar today.
Yep, 2 of them. Nice layout touch-up. This is a great routine. Huge touch-up. No bend on the arms on the catch there. We got another one coming up, half turn. He is going in there without any fear. Nice open. This is how you close out your meet. Big stuck landing coming. Yup. Alright. And the flag is waving. Great routine. That was a really difficult routine, to be completely honest. First, a lead-off event, or excuse me, a lead-off position. That was a great set. Very unique. Big release moves. Watch those hands. One arm holding all of your body weight, all of his body weight as he goes around the bar. And he goes and does it a second time. It just adds a little flair into that huge dismount, into the stuck landing. Way to put a toothpick in a club sandwich.
You know that feeling when it's just your day?
Of course.
That's the feeling Nebraska has right now.
You're absolutely right. Back to the parallel bars.
This is Jonathan Liu.
That was a mistake right there. We didn't want to see him come back to his upper arms. At this point, you know, Michigan just looking to get through the meet.
Healthy.
Exactly. It's like I said, you know, there are a lot of important meets coming up. It will be unfortunate for them to give up, you know, their chance, at winning. They still very well may win the title. But they absolutely are looking to the Big Ten and NCAA championship. And, you know, that is a major deduction, a major error that just occurred. So right now we're really looking for Nebraska, whether or not they can hang on to the bar or not. Looking back at his dismount, you're going to see his hands again. Like I said, when you go for the stick, sometimes you leave your chest slightly forward, and you make that mistake. You start walking out of it. It's so easy to position yourself improperly on the landing, and everyone all over the world really spends time working on those dismounts. You know, parallel bar sticks. Can you stick? You know, it counts so much. You can stick it and have no deduction, or you can have a fall very easily.
Now Dylan King on the high bar. Where it will be frustrating for Michigan is they were coming off a meet where they thought they were really good against Penn State and Illinois, and just being in the right frame of mind heading toward the tournament time, which is where their focus really is.
Of course. No, in my opinion, though, you can't always be at the top. You know, you have to have some downtime. Maybe they need a little bit of a break to revamp for the regular postseason. Excuse me. Looking only one we've seen so far. It's a Kovacs with a full twist. It's really difficult. It's a huge flip all the way. Coach not watching. Big flip all the way with a full twist over the bar. It's really difficult to zone back in on that bar. It looks like he could have had it, but his tap was a little bit off, so he couldn't get a good enough grasp with his right hand back on the bar. You know, it happens. Like I said, this happens on the big stage, World Olympics, NCAA's. This really can make or break a routine. So now it's the game. They really have to put it together at the end.
It's their first fall. It took 27 routines.
It's very impressive. It's definitely an impressive day for Nebraska, no matter what happens here so far. Another release, and that's really hard to get back up there and to do another Kovacs. No, he didn't do it with a full twist, but he still had to do a blind catch all the way over the bar, and that's really frustrating after your pride has been hurt. You missed your biggest skill, and you have to do your second biggest skill.
And you took a big fall, too.
Oh, yeah. But we need to stick here. And it's Nebraska. It's going to happen.
Big bounce back. Big bounce back for Dylan
There you
King.
go. That was really important. That was really important. They have to stay clean here.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely love, you know, when the underdog comes and takes the title. So I'm really rooting, you know, for Nebraska to be able to hold it together here in the last rotation. They've worked so hard today, and it's so difficult. The high bar is so difficult. There's a lot of pressure. There's so many moving parts. It's a beautiful dismount. You can definitely tell that Nebraska has been doing some work on those things you were mentioning. You know, really looking back at basics. Basics being landings. Can you land really well? You get those stuck landings. You're gonna get better execution scores. That matters, if not more than your deploy score.
Anthony McCallum now on P-bars, the second of two apparatus for him. National champion on vault. We saw him there earlier today.
There's Peach here. Looks like he wants that compression sleeve on his elbow, maybe from his vault, taking all that pressure, that double flip that we saw earlier, into a nice lapel. Oh, that actually is not a lapel. That's even harder than a lapel. And that's the lapel that I was talking about. Again, you can't be touching the bar. It's so difficult to pop yourself above the bar, put your hands on the bar, and get into a handstand as fast as you can without stopping. So Anthony has a really high-level routine here. Ooh,
great stick.
He's on fire. That was a good set. You know, can't see it on his face, but that was a beautiful routine. He should have a grand year's here.
Always a really internal guy. He's been injured. Dealt with a leg injury last year and back injury, a little bit elbow this year. For him to go out and do this, and Kurt Golder basically said he doesn't show it. If it bothers him, I don't know, because he's just so inside. Straight face, go do your work.
Yeah, you know, but there's something to be said, you know, for an athlete that knows how to do their job. Clearly, he's a good competitor. He's very talented. He knows how to get the job done, and he knows what his team needs, you know. So he's here to do his job, you know, and I respect him for that.
Khalil Jackson now on the high bar for Nebraska. You alluded to it when Dylan King was on the high bar. The 2 weeks off, going back to the workshop for Nebraska. It all stemmed from, yes, their last two efforts were difficult, but they kind of got whooped at Penn State. And Chuck Janaka said, you learn from winning, you really learn from losing, and you really, really learn when you lose bad.
So, unfortunately, I agree with what you're saying. We just saw another pretty decent-sized mistake.
But a good recovery. And another for Jackson.
Unbelievable. Those are some huge skills that he's throwing. You know, after that backdoor talk in the beginning, really able to reverse himself and pick himself back up. Unless the rules have changed, and I'm not aware that that's not a mistake in the beginning. It may not have been. We're going to watch. We're going to be able to see where the mat is placed when we go back. Double. Everybody clap for that one. That was beautiful. Khalil. Beautiful, beautiful routine. Beautiful, beautiful routine. Now here comes that layout. Kovacs. We have not seen one of those tonight. One of the only people that I've ever seen do that is Donnell Leyva. He was one of the only medalists from the Olympic Games over the last couple of quads and for our country. And he did it almost as well as, or if not better, than Mr. Leva.
Yeah, I think they've learned. I think they've grown as a team.
Yeah, definitely. They're definitely doing a great job tonight. That was a recover from a big mistake, obviously, big fall. But we're getting to the end of the competition, and that's what matters. Finishing it out well. Jacob Moore up next on parallel bars. Just 2 more routines for Michigan here. Again, operation just make it through.
We did miss him on high bars, so he will not be an all-arounder today. That was his decision, Kirk Golder told us. Give some opportunities to some other guys, but back on P-bars.
Hold that handstand 2 seconds. Peach. Front 1.25, nice smooth landing. This has been an interesting meet. It always comes down to the end, and there's a lot of pressure on these guys with that regular season crown up for grabs. And, it's in a dual meet situation. Big, beautiful. That was a very well-controlled landing. Heels together, small hop to the side. I really like the confidence that I see when I watch Jake. That was a very, very well executed routine. The only mistake I saw was this peach didn't quite go to handstand.
I think I'm having a little technical difficulties. It's reconnecting. Playback error reconnects in 3 seconds. Oh, come on, play. I don't know what the big issue is. I don't know why it stopped playing. I don't know if it's my internet or the bad connection. I give up. I'm going to exit out of here. I think I was in the 6th event anyway. But anyway, I'll tell you the final score. I think Michigan had like 402 and Nebraska had 408. Nebraska won the meet. I'm going to be going on vacation. Tuesday, I'm leaving for Carib in Orange Beach, Alabama. So you'll see some indoor pool videos, a video of the nice condo we're staying in. Hit